knowing what you want. You got to come in the door knowing what you want. You got to come in the door knowing already who you are and stop all of this shenanigans. Okay, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, people from all walks of life. Listen, I wanted to just jump in here real quick because guess what? I have been getting a lot of, I'll just say, tugging. Yeah, I'm going to say a lot of tugging. And what do I mean by that? People talking to me about relationships, I'm talking to them. Listen, I have my set of like big brothers in the spirit who will just give me the 411 on what guys do and why they do it. And I know that there are a set of people that really believe that we should not be testing people. My mic sounds nice. Check one. Yeah, you know what? You have to run tests. Even the Bible says test the spirit by the spirit. And so, what's really interesting, and thank you so much for joining. Welcome to all my replayers. Hello, shalom. I am Nabiya Yehuda, and you should already know that by now. But if you're brand new, just put new in the chat. So, I just want to jump into this. I know I have my protocol, but I felt like I really needed to do this only because I'm getting a lot of people talking to me about it. And so, just giving you the benefit of my experience and the experience of other men and women around me, I just want to share. And I don't normally talk about this on this platform, but this is called Prophetic Wind, Let God Speak. So, you know what? He is concerned about every area of your life, my life too. And I love him because he keeps me covered, he keeps me protected as long as I stay aligned with him. And so um, I know that there are people that don't understand. Well, why people got to play games? Nobody's playing games with you. They are testing you to see if you are who you say you are. I mean, I do it too. Yes, I do. I do it too. I have to. Because if you come to me and you tell me that you are a Christian, first of all, I want to know, what does that mean? Like, what do you believe? What do you know? And it's not because I think that, my experience and my depth of knowledge is so whatever. I just need to see who I'm dealing with. And so I'll ask questions. And then there are times when I kind of, I just wait. I wait. I give a certain amount of time to see where is your conversation going, and I'll flow with it and I'll go with it. But that doesn't mean that I'm not like spot checking you in the spirit. And so, and I think that's good. I mean, you don't have to always let your right hand know what your left hand is doing, and it's just wise because people will, when people meet, you wind up dealing with the representative as opposed to the real person. And I know that everybody wants to put their best face forward, and that's okay, but I'm a real person. What you see is what you get, but that doesn't mean that I'm not dialoguing back here in the background and thinking about things that you say. Like, for instance, you may say something to me and I may not say anything right then, and then I go back and I think about it because I that's just how I am. I like to think about it, and sometimes I'll catch you in the moment, and I'll just kind of flow with the conversation, and then I'll say A to see if you're going to select B or C or D, and then I just kind of think to myself like, okay, this is who I'm dealing with. Okay, but sometimes it could be a fluke, so I'll run another test, and I'll run another test, and just to see, is this who I'm really dealing with? And I just think that you should. Because if you're dealing with somebody and you don't, first of all, when you first meet somebody, you don't really know them. And you think you know them, but you don't know them. You know, you can act like you know them and they can act like they know you, but they really don't. And when I say I know something about somebody, it's because I'm looking in the place they don't think that I'm looking. Because I'm smart. You know, but and I can say that, but and the people that may probably try to talk to me later, they'll be like, "Oh, kid, yeah, I know who you are. Listen. I just keep it 100. I just tell you." And so when a guy and a girl, or a man and a woman, hopefully he's a grown man, um, when they start to interact, and if you guys have any questions, especially on the replay, and you want to make comments or questions, please feel free. Um, I ain't scared of none of y'all. I'll answer the question if I can. I don't know everything. I can only tell you my experience, and I can only tell you based on the experience of those that I'm around. Like, I'm a woman. I've been a woman my entire life. Okay. Some people can't say that, but that's another show. So, for instance, women like to talk to women about guys, their relationship. And that's okay. You can do that. But you can't get any advice from a woman because she ain't never been a man ever. And so she doesn't understand the psychology, she doesn't understand the games that they play. They don't understand the tests that they run. And so, guys have, tested me in certain areas, and depending on their proximity depends on the answer that they're going to get. And so, like, for instance, I am a real believer of the Bible and I serve God. I do not compromise. It's not even a struggle for me. Now, I'm still a woman. I'm still soft. I'm still, I still know how to be sexy. I haven't forgotten anything. And and the interesting thing is that there are some people, and I have some, and I'm just giving you my friends, some of my friends. They are so holy that they're just corny, and they're dry, and they're not trying to be cute, and they're not trying to do nothing. They just like, just stoic, and I'm just like, I cannot. You, mm-mm, mm-mm. But but that's them, because they think that's what holiness is. Holiness just simply means this: that you're sanctified, you're set apart, you have standards, and you are not going to compromise them for anybody. That's all that it means. And so, and the other thing also is, if you have not done the inner work, the same joker that you attracted back then before you came to the Lord, you are going to still attract. Now, the difference is this: some of those busters might try to roll up on you, ladies, but if you set them straight, and instead of, defaulting back into who you used to be, I mean, that's going to make all the difference in the world. So you have to do the inner work. You have to get whole. You have to be healed. You have to have self esteem. You have to have security. If you're insecure, you'll do and say whatever. Because if I do this, then I'll get to keep them. Really? Is that who you want? It's like, I say this all the time: I am not thirsty. I am not desperate, and I'm not dehydrated, because I know who I am. Now, I can say, way back in the day, there was a time when Nabia did not know who she was, and she was not making good decisions, which is why she ended up with not the right people. And so that just, it didn't go well. But I made God a promise. I was like, that thing back there I did, there will not be a repeat performance. I'm not doing that no more. Mm-mm. Because it did not serve me, right? It just did not serve me. And so when men and women interact, and this is, and I'm not talking about the ones that are playing games. I'm not even talking to y'all jokers. Because there are a set of people that like to play games. They like to catfish and they think it's cute until it happens to them. Some people get catfished and they don't even know what happened. All they know is he's gone, she's gone. They don't even know what happened. So, yeah, back in the day, yeah, I, I am definitely not the same person because I know who I am. I know what I want. I've been by myself long enough to do some work because back in the day, I broke up with you. Trust me, you got replaced in about 48 hours. And it wasn't like, oh, I was just with somebody for a couple of months. No, I was with them for years, years. So I wasn't just like out there, you know, living la vida loca. And I wasn't even saved. I had no problem. And so now, um, and oh God, when did I come to the Lord? Jeez, back in 1998. Back in 1998, you know, I struggled because I'm now having to have this new mindset. I'm now having to see, well, no, Nabia, you can't be with this person because they're unregenerated. They're still in that same mindset. They got that same loop and they're gonna wind up doing whatever they did back then, they're gonna do it again and you'll just be caught up in the mix. And so I did not want that, although I did not understand it. And it took me a little bit of time to understand that I had to keep myself and guard myself, to guard my heart with all diligence, to remember that my body is a prize and it's not just for, you know, for hooking up. You know, there will be no Netflix and chill. Okay. And so there's nothing wrong with wanting to be with somebody. There's nothing wrong with, you know, wanting to be in a relationship. Nothing wrong with it. But certain parts of the relationship, God has sanctified it for marriage, and so I am not doing that. Just let me be clear for those of you that don't know. And I know there are a set of men that they won't wait. They don't think they should wait. Dude, then you're not for me, bruh. Deuces. I don't care. I don't know why. I don't. It's just like I don't subscribe to that whole. Well, you know, there's 7 women to 1 man. It's desperate out here in these streets. Well, you let them desperados go and do what they do, because what is for me, God has already set aside for me, and what God has for me, I posture myself for. You know, I could talk to somebody like right now. I'm talking to a guy. One guy is a well, I would say he's a doctor. He's not right there. He's almost there. And then I'm talking to a real estate investor. And so, and that's cool. I'm not sleeping with them, but they will be tested. I will do and say and see how far it will go in their minds and what they do. And so, ladies, I want, and let me say this because I just kind of like blur threw that out. You do not have to be exclusive with anybody unless you just want to, but they have to earn it. Let them work for it. Now, I will say that I have made the mistake of saying, okay. See, I got two okays. This is me. I got my okay because I want to see what's going to happen. And then there's a no, no, I really want to do this. Yeah, I mean, this feels great. This feels right. Let's make it happen. But people that know me, I was hanging out with my spiritual daughter, and we were at oh my God, we were in Hana. I love Hana. I live on Maui, and so this dude was talking, and he was just like, so I was just like, so I started to respond to what he was saying. And then I just kind of took the wheel and took control of the situation without it looking like I was taking control. Now, my spiritual daughter, she knows me. This is so funny. We were out there and she was like, here we go. Because she knew where I was going with it. She knew. He didn't know, but she knew. So those that are around me, they know when I switch lanes. They know because this joke is about to he is about to wreck. And that's not because I'm trying to make him wreck. I'm not trying to self-sabotage. Listen, I'm all for building up the king in a man. I will encourage, I will edify. I know how to do it. It serves everybody, and it is good. It's always good. Even if it doesn't work out, it's good. At least you did your part. And so, but this dude was like on some other planet, and I was just like, okay, let me drive. I just wanted to drive for 5 minutes, and he wrecked himself because he was not ready. Point blank. Period. He just wasn't ready. And then so I looked at my spiritual daughter. She's like 40. So we looked at each other, and I was just like, and she was like, she was like shaking my head. And so the test. Let's stay on topic. So a guy will test you to see if you're going to sleep with him or not. And some of them, they will let you sleep with them, but then they'll look at you like, mm. And it's too late. You can't change your mind. Oh well, I don't usually do this. They've already come to their conclusions about you, because especially if you say that you're a believer, especially if you say that you are a woman of God. If you've already said that, but then now scene two, you got your heels in the air, behind his head. I'm just that's standards, ladies. Standards. You cannot be afraid of losing that person, because if they are for you, they will be there. One thing that I know about men, because one of my friends was talking to me about another guy that I know that I'm currently talking to. She was just like, "Oh no, he likes you." I was like, "No, dead that." I said, "No, it's not like that. We're just friends." I said, "I've been pursued. I know what that looks like. I know what it feels like. This is not that." And so we're cool. And I was gonna say something, but I'm shelving it. I'm shelving it. And so yeah, so I know what that's like. And every relationship that you have does not have to be a thing. Ladies, just because he's cute, just because he's got some paper, just because he's easy to talk to, just because he's anointed, just if that doesn't mean that he belongs to you. I'm not going to be on here long because I like I said, I just because I was asked to do this, um, only because I was asked, but that doesn't mean it. And then in some cases, first of all, I believe in being friends first. Some people, they just want to jump into, oh, we're in a relationship. And that happens, and that's okay. But I like establishing friendship. It's good when that happens. But when you see that somebody's pushing like 120 miles an hour, just let them go. Don't even tell them to slow down. If you feel like you need to slow down, you slow down. You don't even have to have the conversation. Well, let me tell him that I'm going to, slow down because this is just too fast for me. If you think that is too fast, you slow down. Don't even tell him. And I'm serious. Why don't tell him? What tell him for what? First of all, if he wants you, heaven and earth is not going to stop him. His mama ain't going to stop him. His boys ain't going to stop him. If a man wants you, you're going to know it, and you're going to know it right well. So, I mean, you can't even stop him unless you just completely just shut him down. Like, no, I don't know. I do not want to be with you. Like, for instance, there's a guy who's been trying to holler at me for a couple of years. Um, he lives in another state. We used to live in the same state, so which is how I know him. And he's always like, "Oh, Nabia, I just, but I don't know why you just don't give me a chance." And I'm just like, And my friend is like, why don't you just tell him? I'm just like, I can't. I can't because he's not serious. There's no reason for me to tell him because he's just talking. Or tell him for what? And I mean, when I tell you just about 90% of our conversation, I would just have to tell him stop playing. Nah, nah, you understand? I'm not playing. I'm serious. I want to marry you. I don't even say anything. After I already said the first stop playing, I don't even say nothing. I either switch the conversation or I don't know. Most of the time I just switch the conversation. And then my friend, she's in Jersey. She's like, "That's not fair. You should just tell him." I was like, "There's no need to tell him for what?" Now, if he's talking about hopping on a plane and coming out here to Maui, and like then I know he's serious. He's not saying none of that. There's no reason for me to say to him, no. For what? I certain conversations I don't have unless I actually have to. Um, I don't believe in breaking up with people over a text. I don't believe in breaking up with people over I left a voicemail. I'll just tell you. If I call to tell you, this is Nabia. Let me give you a little bit of insight. If I call to tell you, you know what, I've been thinking, I'm done. I mean, I would be short just like that. And then I try to be a little sensitive to the person. I have literally said, I've literally broke up with a person and said, I'm bored. I was younger then, so don't judge me. I was younger then, don't judge me. But now, these days, um, I would probably not say that or say it that way. But if I call to tell you I'm done, and for whatever reason you don't return the call or whatever, in my head, I'm already done. Maybe you was thinking the same thing. I don't know. But I'm already done. So you can't now call me and try to be like, oh, well, I heard from you in a while and, you wilding out. Why did... I'm not even going to say nothing. Because in my head, I'm already done. I'm just going to let you talk because I'm done. And I'll let you say whatever. And I'll be like, well, I was just da 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 da. But in my head, I'm thinking about the last time I called you and you didn't text me back. You didn't call me because I was calling to say I was done anyway. So in my head, there's not even a conversation. But that's just me. That is how Nabia is built. Like I'm a listen. I am a big communicator. I don't believe in it running and ducking and I'm gonna block you and I ain't talking to you no more. And I don't play games like that. I will just straight tell you. But if I call to tell you and then I don't hear from you for whatever reason, I don't know, maybe you were just overworking and you got caught up in meetings or da 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 whatever your little tired excuse is in here, you already crossed out. So it don't matter. And you can call me and I'll answer the phone and I'll talk and I'll be like, yeah, what's up? So, but that's just how I am built. But if now you say something in a conversation like, well, yeah, I was thinking about let's do a movie, and then that's when you'll find out what that other phone call was about. But if you just talking, I'm not gonna say nothing. I don't care what you calling to say. But if you sound like you trying to, then I'll be like, mm, no, I haven't heard from you, and yeah, that's pretty much what you get. Cause I'm not a time waster. So test. So test that women should do. If this dude is saying that I read the Bible, I believe God, I preach, I teach, whatever. So you want to look for evidence of that. Like when he calls you, or FaceTimes you or however y'all video chat, excuse me, whatever, if he never talks about God and he never talks about his ministry and he never and you just start like asking him stuff and that's the only time he says something, please ladies make a mental note because if you have a relationship with God, um you're probably going to talk about it. I talk about it. I mean, that's not all I talk about, but I do talk about it. I mention it. I talk about my exploits with the Lord. I talk about how, whatever it is I want to share about my relationship with God. And, but if I'm just getting to know you, I do want to bring in other aspects of the relationship because I want to know about you. So that's my little test drive. When men talk about test driving, they're usually talking about sleeping with you, but that's not gonna happen, pumpkin. Not over here in the BL land, because I am not your wife. So we won't be doing none of the nothing. Okay, So um, yeah, yeah, and that's the problem. There is too much. I have found that there's way, way, way too much compromise in the body. And I'm trying to figure out, like, I remember I was engaged, this is years ago, and then some of the people that were helping with the wedding party was friends of my ex-husband. And I remember one of the ladies, and I love her to life, she was talking about her and her husband, and she was talking about how her and her husband, before they were married, and she was just nonchalantly just talking about all the time she spent at his house, and like she wasn't just like sleeping, and I was just like, how, wait, y'all would wait, and I in my mind I could not understand, what are y'all doing? You're not married. So listen, this is a no judgment zone. If you're in the world, I expect this behavior. When you're in God, I am expecting God-like characteristics. Does that make sense? And so people will say things like, well, the Bible is antiquated and the Bible is old. You know what God's other name is? They call him the Ancient of Days. Atik Yomin. Atik Yomin. That means Ancient of Days. His wisdom and his very existence is before you ever was. He is omnipresent. He is omniscient. He's like all knowing, all powerful. Somebody just asked me the other day about, well, what would you do in this situation? Well, here's the situation with this guy and this girl, and he lives over here, and she has an opportunity over here, and what? And I'm just like, the Bible says in Proverbs, acknowledge God in the call, all, in all of your ways. The call derech, or the call dekarim, in all of your ways, all of your paths. And then what happens? And then he will direct your path. So I don't need to have, watch this, beloved. I don't need to have some other counsel because God is the only one that I know that can see up the road and around the corner. I can't. I can't. So, of course, I can go to those that I highly respect and say, well, what do you think about this? But at the end of the day, God bless you. But at the end of the day, Nabia has to go to God. Not even at the end of the day. In the beginning of the day, I need to go and ask him. Why? Because he knows what's in the heart of men. And I have asked the Lord for that type of discernment so I just recently had to ask the Lord, show me who he is. Show me. Because I know what I'm hearing. I know what I'm hearing. I know what they said, But I need to see. I need to see. And it was shortly after that. That's when everything started to unravel. The real person just showed up. This is just Navia. We're having a fireside chat, right? We're having a fireside chat. And so you got to run a diagnostic. You got to see if this joker is a fugazi. You got to see if they're a fugazi or not. You got to see if this is the authentic person standing in front of you. Are you still dealing with the representative? But if you have not, and this is to all men and women, if you have not done the inner work, healed, whole, you're not looking for somebody to make you feel secure, because you got to come. This is not 50-50, it's 100. God is calling you to be a whole individual, not, oh, you complete me. Really? Really? Why does this person have to complete you? Think about it, boys and girls. We watch too many ding dang movies. Don't get out here in these streets and get Jerry Maguired. Oh, you complete me. If this person has something that's missing, and you'll know when you do these little diagnostics, when you do these tests, when you do these tests on the individual, that's when you find out who you're dealing with. Then you can go, oh, okay. And then you could decide if you want to pump the brakes, if you want to go forward, you can decide whatever you need to do. But you have to have tangible evidence, because people could say whatever they want to say over the phone. You know that saying, you don't know a person until you live with them. That is very, very true. But you have to, and not just live with them, dwelling in the same house, but live with them. Go out, see how they are in front of your friends, see how they are in front of your family, see how they are when you are sitting in a restaurant. How do they come at you when it's nobody around? But y'all both supposed to be in God. So they like they're like pulling on your clothes, trying to fill you up, trying to, and you could test them. You could say stuff to them to see if they gonna flow with it. Then you know who you're dealing with. Because when they should say no, that no, I'm no, that's stuff like that, conversations like that. That's for me and my wife. That's for me and my husband. If they having some other kind of conversation, and you could be flirty. I mean, please, the conversation don't have to be sterile. You could be flirty. Flirty is okay, but if it goes too far, yeah, you got to. Now you know who you're dealing with. People can talk a good game, but you have to, in order for you to discern it. Because yesterday, my co-host and I, Jacqueline, were talking about relationships and dating. And for the last few weeks, I've had guests on my platform where it was married people. I mean, dude just walked up to her and was just like, no, I'm going to marry you. And they're now celebrating 18 years. God can do it. But he didn't come out the blue with it. He didn't just come out of left. God, he was in a service. He was minding his business. And God said to him, look up, because she was right in his line, right in his line of view, line of sight. And God said, look up. So when he looked up, she was right there. She wasn't looking at him. She was over there worshiping, praising God. And he noticed, wow, this woman praises God like God do. And he was just like, wow. And he was just like, okay. He wasn't thinking, oh, that's my wife. Oh, I need to get with her. Let me go holler. He wasn't thinking about none of that. And then the Lord said, that is your wife. He was like, what? He didn't go, oh yeah, really, God? No, he was like, what? And so you just got to be in the flow of God. You got to be able to hear. You got to be discerning. so that you know. Because the men and the women, they both run diagnostics. They both do tests. Again, I'm not talking about people that's out here in these streets playing games. But you got to discern when folks are playing games. And you just, you know what, this is an idiot right here. Let me just cut the cord. Don't be like trying to make it work. Well, let me see what's going. Dead it. That's not the one. That's not the one. She's not the one. He's not the one. Now you can go back and just double check just to make sure. You can. I mean, listen, because this is your life. You can double check just to make sure. Maybe you got the wrong idea. It happens. It does happen. Sometimes you assumed, especially if the person is running tests just to see if you're gonna say or do or whatever, and then you probably like, dang, I didn't know she was like that. I didn't know he was like that. No, the line is thrown out to see if you're gonna take the bait. But if you don't know that, and most of the times you don't, but then you now have to run your test to see where they are. Does that make sense? Because you don't know a person until you test them. The Bible says, test, test, test. You shall know them by their fruits. Listen. All right. So I'm getting hungry. My headache that I had, I think, is subsiding. But I'm going to eat, and I need to get ready because it's going to be Shabbat in a little bit. It's a little bit after 4 o'clock my time, a little bit after 4. And so like I said, I just want to kind of jump in here just for a little bit, just have a fireside chat, just, just kind of set some things straight because folks are out here in these dating streets and they have no idea how to navigate. I'm not some expert dater. I have been single for about 7 years. And it's been beautiful, beautiful. I'm not worried about no, what is it? My clock is ticking. I ain't worried about that. Trust and believe. I ain't worried about that. And I'm not worried about, well, nobody's talking to me. Okay. He who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord. I'm going to close with this because people have taken that out of context. He that findeth a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord. So that word find in Hebrew is ma'aseh. And it does mean find, but more directly it means he who obtains, attains. Attains. He who attains a good wife, a wife. Then attain the wife, then they obtain favor from God. And it also means to encounter, like walk up on. And so that means that she done postured herself. That doesn't mean that she out here in these streets rolling up on a brother. But she is postured. That's all that means. So, and the woman thinks that, oh, I'm just supposed to sit home and somebody just gonna show up at my door. Or I'm gonna be at church and somebody gonna walk in the church building. Maybe. But so posturing yourself, what does that mean? Positioning yourself, what does that mean? That means that you have done the inner work, the healing, because that's a part of positioning yourself. Because if you don't do it, you're going to be a repeat offender. Because the one that you want, he ain't going to want you. Because he going to see that you're still insecure, you're needy, that you ain't got it together, that you're jealous, that you still got unattended wounds, because it's all going to come out. I don't care how much makeup you do and how much fake hair and fake eyelashes you put on or how high your heels are. What's in you is going to come out of you. So you posture yourself and position yourself by doing the inner work that needs to be done. And you practice self care. And you are aware of yourself. You know who you are. That's all. You know. And you go out and you don't sit around waiting for somebody to buy you something or to take you somewhere. Take your little happy hips out. Go and get a life. Live. Go live. And you ain't got to be like you looking at the menu. Ooh, girl, you cute. Okay, you know what? And it's okay to notice somebody's cutivity. That's okay. You know, but don't get it twisted. Don't sit home and be dusty and just I'm just waiting on the Lord. Okay. Good luck with that. But have a prayer life. Acknowledge God. If you want to get married, talk to the Lord. Talk to the Lord. Let other people know that, you know what, I'm ready to start, you know, I'm ready to like get married. Be in a relationship, whatever you want to call it. Um and just be honest with yourself. That is also a part of positioning yourself. If you have fears, hesitancies, um, old triggers from the last relationship that went south, um, you got to deal with that. Because trust me, whatever you don't confront, it's going to confront you and it's not going to be pretty. And it happens at the most inopportune time. So there's work to do, ladies and gentlemen. The men, too. The men as well. Men have to do some deep inner work because they've had some failures as well. They've been hurt as well. And guess what? Hurt people hurt people. And nobody wants that, right? So, and I feel like that's a good place to close. So, all right, so I'm gonna get up out of here. Thank you so much for watching. This, if it has been a benefit to you, just give me a like, give me a thumbs up, and comment. Wow, yeah, send a comment. And there's some people they just lurking in the back, just looking on the DL. That's okay. That's okay. As long as it's beneficial to you, that's what matters to me. And subscribe so every time I go live, you won't miss it. All right, so this has been a special announcement, a special fireside chat. I am Nabi about you here to bring you intimate truth. It's the truth that you embrace that makes you free. And I will see you on the next time. Shabbat Shalom.